Hey, it's Dr. Thornell with New England Family Chiropractic, and I want to give you a quick little explanation of the immune system and why your ongoing chiropractic care is important to having strong immunity. As you know, today, having a strong immune system it's always been important, but today we're very aware that it's important. So the first thing I want to do is just give you a quick overview that when some bacteria or virus comes into contact with your body, and we're going to mount an immune response to that. We have two different types of immunity that go into effect. The first is what we call innate immunity. Innate simply means it's something we're born with. It's all of the different immune tools that the body has to fight something off. So it's an overall just global response to something that doesn't belong there. It might include fever and throwing up and diarrhea and different immune cells going to the site of wherever this thing has been identified. And it really is an overblown response to make sure that nothing happens to you. Well, once that has occurred and your body has identified what it is that's there that doesn't belong there, we have what's called adaptive immunity, which is a learned process. This is where your immune system begins to develop. And in that process, we have what are called memory cells. One of those types of memory cells are T-cells. We also have cytokines, and there's a few other immune type cells that go into that process to create a memory so that the next time we come into contact with that, we don't have to throw up and have a fever and do all these different things. Your body says, no, I know exactly how to deal with this, and you probably don't even know that you've come into contact with it. Your body deals with it, and you're fine. So the next thing I want to introduce you to outside of the process is this term right here, the neuroimmune system. We refer to neurology being the nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, the nerves, and we refer to the immune system by itself frequently. However, the two of them really always work together. And in fact, we have the muscular system, the cardiovascular system. We can basically plug the term neuro in front of any of those because in order for any of those things to work correctly, or to work at all, in fact, your brain has to constantly send and receive information to your muscles for them to be able to do anything. For your heart to beat, for your lungs to breathe, we could have the neurorespiratory system, the neurovascular system. The neuro part of it is always connected, even though we don't necessarily talk about it. Well, in this case, we're going to talk about it. The neuroimmune system involves the brain and its ongoing communication between the brain and all the different cells and organs that make up the immune system. And that communication back and forth, when that is accurate and efficient, is what keeps us healthy. And there are two studies that highlight this that I want to bring into the conversation today. They're studies that, number one, Ronald Perot at the New York University Center for Cancer Prevention Research, his relates more to the innate immunity. He basically found that people under regular chiropractic care, taking care of that neuroimmune conversation, had greater immune competency overall. He used the figure of 200%. That their immune competence, they were healthier more often than people who were not under regular chiropractic care. The second one is a study that goes directly from the National University of Health Sciences. This study talks directly about T-cells. Now in the past, I would mention T-cells in a video like this, and people would tune right out and they'd be thinking about, hey, did you see that episode of Catfish where that guy called himself T-cells, and their mind would go somewhere else. Today, because of all the corona stuff, the term T-cells is something that people are actually familiar with, and they should want to know as much about it as possible. Those T-cells are the memory cells. That's where we're learning and developing. And what they're finding is people with great T-cell competency don't have any issues with COVID because other coronaviruses have helped them develop an identification system of coronaviruses and how to destroy them. So they're finding people who have greater T-cell competence deal better with the consequences of the coronavirus. So National University of Health Sciences did a study where they would go in and they would adjust people. They were looking at blood samples. They go back after 15 minutes after an adjustment, they would find increased activity in their T-cells. So why would that happen? Number one, what we're doing when we're adjusting people is clearing out any interference in that neuroimmune axis. We're allowing for that communication to happen properly. So why would we bring that up today? It's always been important, but today people are identifying with the fact that that's important. So if you're a patient in our office already, you probably know this information. You should. I should have told you. You should have been listening, and this should be something that you're hearing for the second, third, fourth, 10th time. If you're somebody in our office and you know people who are not under regular chiropractic care, this might be something that you can share with them as just another example of why being under regular chiropractic care keeps people healthier. It allows them to have healthy, active lives in the absence of drugs. We're not talking about necessarily treating any one thing here. We're certainly not talking about medications or vaccines. We're talking about just allowing the body to work properly. And when you look around and watch the news, the people who are most vulnerable to coronavirus are the people who are going to be most vulnerable to anything. They're the people who this stuff doesn't work very well anymore, and they don't handle any challenges. The people who are handling coronavirus well are people who are having this work well for them. And that's chiropractic's goal, is to improve all of this, improve that neuroimmune conversation so that your body can work to the best of its ability.